18 laps complete in Mexico City. NASCAR's first ever Busch Series race outside the United States. And local hero Jorge Getters has led every single lap. Teammate to David Green in a Bruco-owned Ford. He's out front. Ron Fellows, the Canadian driver and one of our regular road course ringers, in second. Boris Said, another ringer who's going to also drive 10 oval races this year for MB Sutton Racing and Nextel Cup, running third. Leader stays out, but pit road becomes a busy place. Most of the cars behind him came in.
That has got to be some sort of communication problem.
Jeff?
When Michel Jourdain brings in his fifth-place car, right now Todd Green, Gordon, he says the car is really good, running a little bit warm. They're going to pull some tape off the front. He doesn't want to take a chance. It's only 220 degrees, but they're a little bit concerned about that, and they're also making a little bit of air pressure adjustment. Matt?
And Ron Fellows trying for a fourth NASCAR Busch Series victory. Hits pit road, a little bit of trouble on the left front, having to put the lug on. Now the changer getting around to that right front, losing some valuable time as the 27 is already away. Paul Menard to the 11's away. Fellows didn't want any adjustments. Tough break here on pit road. Loses a number of positions, 22.5 seconds, Mike Joy.
And Darrell, this is not the widest pit road to have to get off of when there's a lot of traffic.
Oh no, it's very narrow, and it's a lot. It reminds me of Dover in that respect, in that regards. But I'm worried about the 66. I'm not sure what their strategy would be.
So our leader did not pit, nor did the 42 of Jamie McMurray, or Carl Edwards in the 60 are now lined up right behind him.
Larry, are they trying to get into that window, that magic spot where they can make it on one more stop?
Yeah, they may not be there just yet because we still have 61 laps to go. I talked about the fuel window, 27 to 32 laps. A lot of those cars were in the 27 to 28 lap range. So I'd say a lot of these cars will hit pit road shortly after we go back to racing.
That number 21, though, Kevin Harvick, listened to one driver who was very happy that he pitted when he did just before the yellow came out.
Those are the kind of things that win road races. You got to make the right calls, and have a few things go your way. The rest of these are just laps. They don't mean anything, so we just got to put ourselves in the right position. 10-4. We were just watching TV and thought that was the thing to do. No, that was definitely right.
Well, as you look down pit road and you look at Harvick's car with a Hershey product, Pelon Pelo Rico. Made here, Hershey product made here in Mexico. There, go down to his pit, or let's go down to the pits. And Matt in the leader's pit. Remember, the leader did not stop.
Newt Moore told me before the race, Newt, you said that lap 25 window. Are you sticking to that? Is that why you didn't pit?
Yeah, I think if you just pit twice here like you do at Watkins Glen and all them other places, it'll be the right move. Tires are good. He's just taking it easy right now. He's really smooth. This kid is just awesome. So we'll see if we can keep it up front. But yeah, we're going to stay around 25, 26, 27. We'll come down then, get our tires green, yellow, whatever the case may be, and go to our next window and stop and see where we come out.
And Darrell, you know, as a driver, the team keeps preaching to him, be patient, don't over-abuse your stuff. We have a game plan. We're going to stick to it.
Well, he's doing a good job, I tell you that.
Way back behind him, Darrell, let's do the math. Adrian Fernandez, who had to start with a provisional in a backup car after a qualifying crash, has gained 28 positions. The number 7 of Chris Cook has gained a lot of spots. Johnny Sauter has picked up 15. And yes, folks, that is an active volcano off in the distance. As we like to say, things are heating up. Hopefully not that much.
Nobody told me about that.
It's miles from here, Darrell. So Getters is our leader. Fellows is second. Jamie McMurray up to third after pit stops. Boris Said is fourth. Paul Menard was fifth the last time they came by the line. And that, of course, will sort out and change with the pit stops.
Yeah, best I can tell, Mike, the top 5 cars did not pit that time. We already talked about Jorge Getters and Jamie McMurray, Carl Edwards, Elliott Sadler in the 90 car did not pit as well. And then what that will do, that puts Martin Truex Jr. in the 5th position. Remember, he made the pit stop back on lap 9 in the 8 car.
Green flag once again after the second caution of the day is cleaned up. All restarts are single file.
basically on a road course, you just run it like there are no cautions. Kind of like they do Formula One.
McMurray looking inside for the lead, but he really didn't have the good entry line to turn one.
And so far, after 20 laps, that's the closest that anyone has come to getting by Jorge Getters is on a restart getting into turn one, but it pretty much ends there. So we already 20 laps into this race. We have all types of agendas. We have cars that will have to beat a pit road in the next 4 or 5 laps. We have Martin Truex Jr. that will have to beat a pit road probably in about 25 to 30 laps, and then we have a lot of our guys back there that were leading the race. They can go now about 30 or 35 more laps.
Randy LaJoie and J.J. Yaley both just made pit stops as we went back to green. Darrell, those S's go on forever.
They do. They just there's 2 series of them. There's the initial ones after you leave turn 4. You think you're out of them, but all of a sudden you got another set pops right up.
We're hearing that the 49 car, Mara Reyes, had a clutch problem. She lost her clutch. That's the reason she could not get back going.
That's David Green to the inside. There's Fellows trying to work his way back up after pit stops, as is the one of Boris Said. And Menard hits pit lane in the 11th.
You know, you can tell these drivers have all been kind of warned or cautioned to give each other a break.
Now this is
it's been real clean so far.
That's an unscheduled pit stop for Paul Menard because he pitted the last time on lap 19.
We saw Adrian Fernandez make a pass, carefully working his way up through. He's been in the fence twice this weekend, very uncharacteristic. And folks that had the watches out said yesterday he was on what would have been a pole-winning run had he not crashed in the S's.
You ever heard that before, Larry?
Oh, yeah, many times.
Matt, what's the matter with Paul Menard?
A tough break for this young man. They are thinking the sway bar arm may have broken on this 11 car. Many in the garage area felt like he would be the dark horse driver today. It is hanging down as the crew is working underneath that right front suspension.
Well, we already talked about the curves down in the chicane and all. They stick up so high, very well he may have hit one of those curves and busted the sway bar arm off.
Yeah, these are bigger curves than we see normal at the road course. They're much taller.
Martin Truex has moved past Carl Edwards to pick up a spot, and Robbie Gordon has brought his car from behind the wall back into the race.
Didn't sound any better, Mike.
Nope.
It's still running rough.
That turn 8 is a good place to get a launch and try to get a run alongside somebody coming to this chicane, but things funnel up there in a hurry.
That turn 8 is, you get into 7 and 8 there, it's huge. You're coming around there, you really don't see all the way around the turn until you get all the way around the turn.
Teammates side by side entering the corner. John Wood, Stacy Compton. And Wood completes the pass. Up and over the curb goes Kevin Harvick. And Chris Cook in the 7. A lot of curb jumping here like we see out at Infineon Raceway.
Kevin's got him set up pretty good if he can outbreak him now.
Chris Cook in the 7 car, remember, he had to go to the rear of the field at the start of the race because of the engine change. He moved up pretty quick when they started this race.
Entering turn 4, Harvick, Hornaday there to the inside, and Cook loses another spot to Clint Boyer in the 2.
Just had another car make an unscheduled pit stop, Michel Jourdain. In the 10 car, he was just on pit road that last caution as well, just made another pit stop.
Rusty Wallace up into the top 10, driving a number 64 Dodge. Bell Helicopters has sponsored Rusty here this weekend. He's found his way up into the top 10.
Started back in 31st, but he was one of those cars that pitted back on lap 9. So he's on that agenda of he will have to basically make 2 more pit stops.
And I think one of the reasons he didn't qualify well is he was one of the first cars out the other day. And the track just wasn't that good when they first started qualifying.
And Darrell, I would have to believe a lot of these cars, like Martin Truex Jr. in the 8 car, the black car out there, that what they're banking on when they pitted on lap 9 is that we'll have a lot of cautions to cushion their fuel mileage. You figure about a 2-to-1 ratio here, cautions to green laps.
There's a look at Rusty Wallace.
getting a report that Michel Jourdain had caved the grill in that lets the air flow into the radiator, and he was starting to overheat just a little bit.
And I think John Wood, who said he wasn't the least bit at home on these road courses, is starting to reel in rusty now.
Well, the more laps you run, the more comfortable you get. So he's learning the course, learning where to hit his marks, shift gears.
Turn 5 here, this left-hander. That leads into that long set of S's that you see here.
They just go on forever.
Kevin Harvick, Carlos Contreras in a pretty good battle. Back in 12th place, and the 59 of Stacy Compton just ahead of Harvick. You're riding with Kevin Harvick.
And all these are cars that made that pit stop right before that last caution or on that caution as Stacy Compton in the 59. We know for a fact that they only have to make one more pit stop. I like their position and I like their strategy.
I'll tell you a guy that just keeps coming to the front, Larry, and I don't think we've heard the last of him, is the 5 car of Adrian Fernandez. He's up to 5th place or 4th place, and the car looks really good. I think he's gotten comfortable in that car. He hadn't even made a lap in.
Trouble for Carl Edwards, who is, well, maybe it's trouble, maybe it's scheduled, but
it's a scheduled pit stop, Mike. Remember, this will be his first trip to pit road here on lap 24. So from here, green or yellow, he should be able to make it on one stop.
So Edwards completing his stop from his Brad Parrott-led crew. Jorge Getters, the leader, won the pole, has been out front the entire race, has not made a stop, but we've completed 24 laps and expect him in the next lap or two to make his first stop of the day.
We should see him, Jamie McMurray in the 42, as well as Elliott Sadler in the 90 car. Those guys should be to pit road very shortly.
And if they stop, that would hand the lead to Martin Truex Jr., who came in on the first caution.
And already has paid off, his strategy has, because he's going to get 5 bonus points.
Jamie McMurray, the 2nd place car, had his hand out the window signaling to Truex that he would pit. And he is going to follow Getters into the pit lane.
Now this may be one of the most difficult things Getters does all day long.
I think he's made a mistake, Darrell. He slowed down to pit road speed way before the timing line.
See, he's never made a pit stop.
Exactly. The first time, we talked about it in the opening, the first time he's ever had to do this, Matt Yoakum.
And Larry Mack, Newt Moore told him, remember to get to pit road speed, 4,500 RPM at the cones. That's why he tried to jump down, Jeff Hammond.
Right now, Jamie McMurray brings it down. Donnie Wingo along with Tony Glover, they made the call to come on in. This is a planned stop. Get 4 tires, get this thing full of fuel, and get on the sequence that they've been looking for all day long. He says the car is still working well. Just make a little bit of air pressure adjustment, Matt.
Jeff Hammond, a big miscue. The inexperience showing with Jorge Getters. He slowed way too much, almost came to a stop in Martin Truex's pit box, losing a lot of valuable time here on pit road. The car was tight. They were going to make an air pressure adjustment to free him up as the 42 car. Jamie McMurray, you can see how much time he lost on pit road by how much track position. McMurray has gained 20 seconds for the 66.
But I saw mistakes by Jorge Getters by getting into his pit box. You saw some mistakes by the pit crew. We talked in the opening. These guys are not used to making pit stops like this. Jimmy McMurray's crew, the 42 team, that's his Nextel Cup team. They've made pit stops like this.
So Jorge Getters making his first NASCAR pit stop. Over conservative entering the pits, got down to pit road speed too soon, slow getting into his pit box, and very costly.
Lucky that McMurray didn't run over him, because he had to lock him up to keep him running into him.
And that also, that slow entry to the pit lane also hurt McMurray, because once you get into that pit lane entrance, you're not allowed to pass. Martin Truex Jr. leading his first laps of this season in the NASCAR Busch Series.